Hi guys, this is just a short video about maintenance of your PC, particularly if you're an OMSI player, and this is the process I try and go through pretty much on a weekly basis. The first thing I do is go down to the start button and see if there's any Windows updates pending. So just start to type in window and check for updates. Now I've done this just before, so I know there aren't any, and I have my updates paused. I'll come back to that in a moment, but what you'd do here is I'd click resume updates and it would go away and check if there's any updates that are due to be downloaded. I then decide whether to download them or not, and then what I do is go to advanced options, and you can down here you've got the option to pause until a future date. So I set a date 10 days into the future, and then generally 7 days later actually go and check for updates again. So yeah, so we've got our Windows up to date. The next thing I do is get rid of temporary files. So if you press the Windows icon on your keyboard and R, you get that pop up. The run box will pop up, and you can just type in temp, and you get a list of temporary files which we can clean out. We don't want those. You then get a series of checks that you need admin permission to delete particular folders. Do this for all current items, that's fine, and it goes away and does that. If you get a pop-up saying can't delete because it's open, then skip that file. It won't be able to do that. Okay, and do the same again. By the way, another way to get this this box up, if I can remember how to do it, run. Yeah, you got here run from the start menu. It's another way to do it. So now, having done temp, we want %temp%, which is another set of temporary files, and again, don't want those. You'll need to provide admin permission. Do this for all items. Continue. Done that. And we can close those boxes off. Sometimes they'll hang around for a moment or two, but they will actually go. Then empty the contents of the recycle bin. So up here, empty recycle bin. Bomb, bomb, bomb. So we're just cleaning stuff out. And the final area is the browser cache. So open the browser that you tend to use. Here's your history, clear browsing data. And what I do routinely is clear the browsing history and the cached images and files, but not the cookies and site data, because that means you'll have to put the password in for everything that you log into again. It's a good job to do that a few times a year, but I don't certainly do that every week. So clear browsing data like that, and be a bit careful there. That's done. Okay. So now we're in a position to usefully defrag the hard disk drive. Just a few general words about OMSI maintenance. Head down into my OMSI folder. It's a good idea to keep an eye on maps that you're not using or that you don't want installed anymore, and get rid of those. And similarly with vehicles as well. So if we pop down to vehicles, something else I want to show you. Let's go find a nice vehicle. There's a nice vehicle. And the HOF files. Keep an eye on those, because those all have to be loaded as well. And you only really want the HOF files in the vehicles that you actually need. So if you've been deleting a map and the HOF files are hanging around, you might want to either delete them, put them in a special place, or rename the file extension so that they're not loaded, but they're still available to you if you want them in the future. So what this is all about really is speeding up how quickly OMSI will come up, because if you've got a hard disk drive, that tends to be disk I/O bound, as the maps load and you select a map and the vehicles load, etc, etc. This won't have a great effect on the actual running once the OMSI and you're actually driving, because that's more CPU bound than anything else, I believe, although obviously the hard disk drive is involved as well. So this is more to benefit your loading time. So if you've got a lot of maps and vehicles and OMSI is slow to load, then this is well worth doing. So defrag, if you simply go to start and start to type in the word defrag, you'll get a match up here. I should say, by the way, I'm running Windows 10. I think that's probably the commonest system people have got. There are parallels with other Windows operating systems. So your hard disk drive will be displayed here and when it was last defragged. So I'm not actually going to do this at this point in time because I'm obviously running the recorder to make this video. I wanted to say one other thing before you do that. Having cleaned up the files, clean up anything that's running that you don't want. So pop down here in the little system tray and knock on the head if you've got Steam running in the background or anything else that can be knocked over. Knock it over because you'll have a more effective defrag. Okay, defrag, back to here. What you now want to hit is optimize, and that will carry out the defrag. First it will do an analysis and then it will actually do the defragmentation. I should say, if you haven't done this for some time, then the first time you do a defrag, allow plenty of time. It's going to probably take you a long time. It could take well over an hour. It will appear to get stuck at stages on a particular phase of the defragging. It won't be progressing, but the hard disk drive I/O will be active. Just leave it alone. It's not stuck. It will progress eventually on. They say the first time you do this, if you haven't done it for several months, it will be pretty traumatic. But then when you come to do it weekly, you should get the thing done in 15-30 minutes are quite common. It just depends what activity and downloads you have made in the previous week. And then your whole system will be a bit slicker and OMSI will load in the optimum time. It might still be a little bit slow, but as I say, it's just a function of the number of maps and buses, but it'll be doing the best job it can. Okay guys, I hope that was useful, and the next video will be actually driving again. Cheers for now.